Good evening, everyone. Hi, everyone. Croeso, noswaith chi gyd. My name is Billy, and I'm CEO and co-founder at Cufflink, and as you can tell from my GOG accent, I'm from the north. And I'm here today to talk to you about cybersecurity and regulatory compliance. Yay! However, before I do, I'd like to ask you a personal question. What's your worst nightmare? Now, I'm aware it can involve sometimes, it's a very personal question, but it can involve sometimes things like snakes, or spiders, or even worse, getting LinkedIn requests. But if you're a business leader or company director, I'd suggest it's far more likely to be this, a data breach. Or the risk of regulatory non-compliance, or worse still, both. Every 19 seconds, a UK company is hacked. And in around half of these incidents involve the loss of personal data. And this impacts 26,000 people, that's you and me, and costs on average £2.5 million. And the problem is it's getting worse. Personal data is now an asset. It has value, and therefore it makes it a target for people to try and steal. And in fact, a single data breach can have far wider consequences for any business, with regulatory penalties, litigative actions, and the loss of trust by consumers, all impacting any business's bottom line. So what does Cufflink do? Well, at Cufflink, we take your existing personal data, we encrypt it, we split it, and we distribute it. And then our innovative and patent-pending data licenses then control the terms of access to that personal information, so you'll always know exactly who's accessing what, from where, and for what reason. Now, as part of the TFW cohort, we were asked to utilize the Cufflink software and to create a secure single view of a customer. But what does this mean? So for any growing organization, they're constantly adding and removing customer data sets. And this organic growth can end up creating data silos or disparate instances of a customer, so you don't have a single view of them. So when Mr. Sandeep, for example, signs up using the TFW app, he adds his personal information. He'll then go, and this includes his marketing preferences and also his data privacy and language preferences. And this then creates a data record. Now we take this data record and we then pass the information from within it into Cufflink. We encrypt it, and we go via our open APIs, and we use it to create what's called a single view of customer record. Now, this has a unique identifier called a GUID, but think of it as like an account ID. And it's against this that we then store the personal information, and we replace it in the source system. So if there's a data breach, there's nothing there to steal. Now, in the meantime, Mr. Sandeep has gone and signed up to a second system. However, this time he's gone and added some different personal information. So he's added his mobile phone and his address in this instance. So by going via Cufflink, we enrich the customer record so that we have a greater view and a more detailed view of what our customer looks like, and our data insights are improved. However, we can also spot conflicts, where, for example, he'd selected a marketing flag differently in two different systems. Now, again, we can use this information, pass it via the API into the second system, so both systems get to see the same set or the same view of Mr. Sandeep. Finally, we add a data license, and this data license controls the terms of access from both a cybersecurity and also a legal or regulatory requirement. So this is the MVP we spun up. Now, if your eyes are good, I apologize for this, it's very, very small, but essentially what we did is we moved customer data into Cufflink, and then through a simple API call, you can see at the top level we have null data, but then having run the actual API call, we then go and we return the PII. So we can return the personal data. This is what we did as part of our MVP, and how does it affect then the customer? Well, ultimately, what happens then is Mr. Sandeep, on any customer touchpoint within TFW, is now able to see his address, and he's also got a consistent view of his marketing flags across the enterprise. How does it benefit Transport for Wales? Well, therefore, likewise, all of the different areas and business units within the TFW group have a single reference point in which to basically go and look at the customer data. This provides greater data insights and greater understanding of how their customer looks. So the next steps for us is we'd love to continue to build on the MVP and then to integrate within the wider TFW data stack to demonstrate essentially cross-system data sharing. And this would allow us to enhance the customer journey, provide greater data insights, and enforce data security and regulatory compliance across the business. And we're already working with Anglesey Council at the moment. We've gone live to look after their young carers' data, and we'd love to continue to work with TFW and to help make the nightmare of a data breach a thing of the past. Diolch yn fawr, and thank you very much.